Hello everyone, this is Professor Stewart. You're taking me for one of three classes if you're listening to this. That's Interpersonal Communication, the 16-week course, Business and Professional Communication, the 16-week course, or Interpersonal Communication, 8-week 1 and 8-week 2. The basics of what I'm going to go over for this syllabus review applies to all three courses, regardless of which course that you're in. I'm not going to go over the course calendar and the assignments for each particular course. You all can look at those at your leisure, but there are specifics throughout the syllabus that apply to every single course, all three online courses, or all four online courses. So I'm wrapping them all up in this particular video. So when you open up the syllabus, keep in mind there will always be a copy of the syllabus under the Content tab of D2L. Anytime I change the syllabus, if I do change the syllabus, I will always go in and update that, so you will always have that at your disposal as a PDF file. This is my contact information on the first page. I know a lot of you take classes at other campuses, and I did receive an email. Somebody thought I was at Montgomery. No, I am at the University Park campus. My campus is at UP. So my office is 13802 at UP. If you are in the area or you take classes on UP and you want to come by my office just to chit-chat or ask a question or ask for clarification, that is my office number. And these are my office hours, Monday and Wednesday, 8 to 9 a.m. I'm also there Monday afternoons. And then one of the things I want you guys to be aware of is this D2L chat. So there's an online immediate response via D2L chat. If you go into D2L, there's a chat function, and I've been told I'm one of the only professors that uses this, but there's a chat function in there. And on Tuesday nights, I will be online from 5 a.m., or not 5 a.m. for sure, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And all you have to do is, if you have a question, just log into D2L, log into the chat, ask your question, and then you can leave. You don't have to log in during that time frame. All it is just another means for office hours. So it's definitely not required. It's just a way for you to ask questions and get questions answered in real time. As far as emails are concerned, this is the email address you should be using, the one in D2L. If you notice, I put this one used for emergency only. That's my faculty email address. So be aware of that. Don't use that unless it's just absolutely 100% necessary. Always email me in D2L. And I don't even mind you replying to a previous email I had sent to the class. And you can just reply to that, and that'll get to me as well. So as I said before, this is for all three of my classes that I'm teaching online this semester: Interpersonal, Business and Professional, and Interpersonal 8-week. Every one of you will have your own required text, and we've kind of been through this via email. The text is in Connect. So here's the information for Connect in terms of the required materials for Business and Professional. Here you go. And Interpersonal 8-week, it's the exact same thing. Remember, you're going through the Connect access link that I give you in D2L. Do not buy your book at another campus. Do not buy the access code from the bookstore. Always go through the link that I provided you. You do get 2 weeks for free. So if you don't get paid until the end of the month, that can last you until then. So just be aware of that. And don't buy through McGraw-Hill individually. If you go through the link that I gave you, the book is, I think, $20 cheaper, 20 to 30 bucks cheaper. So just be aware of that. All of you are taking an online class, which means online participation is expected of you, and it is required. This is a collaborative class. This isn't just a class that you can just log on, do the work, go home, or go out to the club, whatever you want to do. That's not how this works. This is collaborative, and that's what the discussion boards are for. We're going to go over the discussion boards here in a bit, but what I want you to be aware of is it's expected that you have some sort of online presence. Remember, taking an online course doesn't mean work at your own pace. And you see those commercials online for those different universities that say you can work whenever you want to and work at your own pace and things of that nature. They're deceiving you. That's not the case. That's not how online works. There are due dates and there are time periods in which assignments must close. So you have to be aware of that. And I fully understand A lot of you are probably taking online class because you have a full-time job and a family and things of that nature, but you have to be aware there are due dates. Uh, Being aware of what's appropriate and inappropriate to post on the discussion boards, just use some common sense here. If there's something that I see or a habit that I see of you in your posting on discussion boards that isn't in tune with what this class is about, then I'll just email you to ask you politely to stop, and if it doesn't stop, then I'll just remove you from the course. I don't anticipate us having any issue with that, as most of you, when you are answering these discussion board questions, all you're doing is sharing your experiences. So keep in mind, participation is required for all 3 classes. Failure to complete the syllabus quiz, which is due tomorrow at 11:59 p.m., will result in you being withdrawn from the class. The reason for that, as I said before, the syllabus quiz shows that you've opened the syllabus, you've read it, you understood it, and you agree that it's the contract. The contract is agreed upon by you completing the quiz. And I made it due on a Friday. All the classes started on Monday, so I'm not sure how, if you still haven't taken it by Thursday night, why would you not have logged into an online class by then? But almost everyone in all 3 classes has taken it. Office hours and emails. When you send me an email, you have to use your D2L address. If you don't use your D2L address, if you use something like Gmail or Hotmail or something like that, I cannot respond to that. I can only respond to D2L because that's how I know it's you, according to the university. It's also expected that you know how to send a proper email. Remember, my name is not Hey. My name is not Hey there. You can say Dear Professor Stewart or Mr. Stewart or Mr. Sean, Professor S, something along those lines. Always use a professional greeting, and always make sure you sign your emails. I've gotten a bunch of emails from a few of you in which you're not even signing the email. Remember, sign the email. Sincerely, Mary. Sincerely, John. Something along those lines. If you notice on the content tab of D2L, you'll notice a file folder called Quick Hits. These are just YouTubes that I have recorded about certain aspects of a chapter or of a course concept or a theory. These quick hits are anywhere from 5 to maybe 20 minutes in length, so not very long at all. I don't go in to see who's viewed them. I can tell when you touch it on D2L, meaning when you click on it. But I don't go in and I don't check to see who's viewed it, who's touched it, who's watched it, who hasn't watched it. I don't check the amount of people who have watched it within a certain time period. But I do warn you ahead of time. Information from those videos can be on any of the exams, including the final exam. So just be aware of that. All assignments are due at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. I had to put in the Central Standard Time because I had a student who was taking my class from Alaska, and all of the drop boxes were not closing at 11:59 p.m. her time. They had closed hours earlier. And then she realized, oh, I'm not in Central Standard Time. So just be aware of that. And if a Dropbox closes and you miss the Dropbox, don't just automatically email me the assignment. Send me an email and ask, what should I do? What's the proper protocol here? And I will tell you what to do. All your exams are in Connect. They are not in D2L. The only exam that will be in D2L will be the final exam, so just be aware there are no makeup exams offered in this course. And it's expected that because you have consciously chosen to take an online class, that you have access to the internet and a reliable access to the internet. Remember, there are thousands of computers on every Lone Star College campus and center all across the northwest Houston area. So just be aware of where you are. If for some reason your internet is slow at your house and you have a major assignment coming up or an exam, that might mean a case where you got to trek over to a campus to take it on campus. So just saying faulty internet, I had faulty internet access, that is not a valid excuse because it's expected that you have reliable internet access to take an online course. It's your responsibility to log into D2L every day. Remember, everybody taking these classes, all 3 classes, you all are adults. I consider you adults, and adults are responsible. So you have to be responsible and log in to Connect in D2L every day. If there's some sort of issue with me, remember, these are communications classes. The first person you should communicate with is me, your professor. I'm pretty nice, I think. I'm reasonable as well. So just contact me, and we can work it out. Now, that doesn't guarantee you're going to like my response and my answer, but I guarantee you we'll work out whatever issue you have. Then if for some reason, if you and I can't come to some sort of agreement, that's when you take the next step and you go to the department chair. His name is Dave Gare. He's also at University Park. And the dean, and if you and he cannot work it out, then you go to the dean, Dr. Brandyberg. He's at University Park as well. If you're listening to this quick hit, being a part of this quick hit on the syllabus, being part of my 3 classes, and you don't have access to food, you're wondering what you're going to eat tonight or the rest of the week, maybe how you're going to pay a bill, pay your electricity, maybe pay your rent, please contact me. We have ways to help you, not only at University Park, but throughout the entire Lone Star College system. We call this a basic need. There are students hurting all over the country, all over America, not only at community colleges, but at four-year institutions as well. I was telling my face-to-face classes this on Monday. I watched a documentary over the winter break, about students at a four-year institution in California where nearly 20% of the incoming freshman class were sleeping in their cars because they could not afford to live in the dorms. So it is a major, major crisis hitting college campuses across the country. We are here to help, but you have to swallow your pride and let us know that you actually need help. Same with counseling services as well. If you're going through depression, anxiety, maybe some sort of abuse, something along those lines, we have ways to help you at University Park and at all 6 campuses. So just be aware of that we're here to help you. Your tuition is paying for this, so you definitely want to use those. I do want you to pay attention to this paragraph. If you have an issue with D2L, then you contact OTS. I will say this, if D2L goes down, I'm the first person to know. And I will also say this, D2L has not gone down since it was given to us at Lone Star College nearly 5 years ago. There might be segments that go down, but they explain what sites are accessible and what sites are not. So if you have D2L issues, you contact OTS. If you have Connect issues, that's when you contact the Connect IT department, and that information will be in the Connect file folder, and I'll also email that out to all 3 classes. If you need to get in touch with me, the best thing to do is email. Sometimes you can call me, but if you're going to call, you need to call during those time frames that I'm in my office according to office hours. If you call me at 4 p.m. on a Tuesday, I'm not going to be in my office. If you call me at 4 p.m. on a Wednesday, I'm not going to be in my office until the following Monday. Same with emails. When you send an email or you're looking for a response from me, you have to be aware of when you sent it and the day that you sent it, because sometimes you might not get a response, especially if it's really late over the weekend, until the next class day. And that's pretty much it in terms of the basics of the syllabus. Grades typically are uploaded, give me at least 2 weeks. Quizzes and exams are uploaded within the next 24 hours after the due date is there. Now the discussion boards. This is a major part of your grade. Your discussion boards take the place of class participation. So my face-to-face classes are graded upon how well they participate, meaning do they answer and ask questions during the course lecture. So you all have to have something similar, and that's where the discussion boards come in. So you're participating and you're discussing things with your classmates via the discussion boards. I will ask you 2 or 3 questions for your initial questions. Those are your first posts. If you do not post by the first post due date, which is different from the date the module closes, then you get -5. If you post by the first post due date, which is your responses to the questions I'm asking, but they do not meet the 500-word minimum, and remember, it's 500 words total, not for all questions. If you don't meet the 500-word minimum, then that's -4 right off the bat before I even start to grade. Not responding to your classmates, or if both of the responses do not meet the minimum guideline for responses, which is 150 word per response, so both responses must be 150 words minimum, then that's -3. This is a great way to gain a lot of points, but it's also an easy way for you to lose points, and it makes it hard to catch up when you start getting towards the end of the semester. So these aren't discussion boards. These are something that you don't want to disappear on. You want to make sure you're doing them. And I usually get your first discussion board or module 1. I try to grade that pretty quickly so that you know what mistakes you've made so you can make the adjustments for the subsequent models or the modules that are coming in after that. And sometimes I am known to give you a 0 for a discussion board. And the reason I do that, even if you met all the criteria, the reason I give you a 0 is because I want you to go in and read a comment that I wrote. And I put on your comments, once you respond back to me what you mean by this, then I'll go in and give you the grade that you have earned, which could be 100, right? So sometimes I give you that even though you did everything right, because I want you to go in and read something and answer a question I may have asked you. So as I said before, this is the syllabus for interpersonal 16 weeks. So you can go in and peruse the assignments, business and professional. If you go in, you'll see your grade assignments start after discussion boards as well, starting with the base company and rationale. And interpersonal 8 weeks, same thing for you. Your assignments after the discussion boards, you start to get into the nitty-gritty of what your assignments are. With that said, I do want to go into an online course myth that might be of benefit to you in terms of myths about online classes. First things first, when you take my class, and when I say my class, I'm talking about Professor Stewart, my goal to get you, when you complete my class, is to have an elevated level of thinking. Not only are you thinking and learning in an elevated nature because this is a college classroom, but it's also helping you on your next journey, whether that's at the four-year institution or for your career. And you're going to elevate your critical thinking, meaning understanding the how and the why. That's my goals for this particular class. A couple of myths about online courses. First things first, work at your own pace. That's a myth. As I told you before, those commercials that you see of those universities, there are due dates and assignments, just like face-to-face classes. So it's not like online, you can just turn it in whenever you want. That's not how it works. There has to be due dates and order, and due dates, order, and organization within the online classroom. I've heard students say, I think we do more work than your face-to-face class. I've heard students say, I think we do less work than your face-to-face class. And the answer is, you do the same. There's no more or no less. You do the same assignments that my face-to-face classes do. The only difference is, if you notice, was the discussion boards. And as I explained before, the discussion boards take the place of class participation inside the classroom. Online is easier or harder? I think that's false. Online classes are just delivered differently. I don't think they're easier or harder. The only way I would think they would be harder is if you took online classes, more than one online class, and you're working 40 hours a week and you have a family and you have a second job, things of that nature. Now you're starting to push yourself a little bit too much. And I'm going to talk about that next. Information regarding the session. If you're in the 8-week 1 or the 8-week 2 class, please remember your entire semester is compressed into 8 weeks. So that means your due dates are a little bit sooner and the modules are open for less amount of days. So just be aware of that. Not logging in, that can get you behind. Don't think, oh, we don't have something to do for 3 or 4 days, I'm just not going to log in. I've had students think like that and then they just forget to log in for weeks. And now all of a sudden, they're behind by a lot. So log in at least every other day if you're in the 16-week classes. If you're in the 8-week class, you need to log in every day. Remember, your health and your job and your family comes first. I'm pretty flexible in terms of if it's something valid, all you need to do is just come tell me. Just send me an email. Say, Mr. Sean, I have this going on. My kid has to go to the dentist, something along those lines. That stuff comes first. Why does it come first? Because you can always drop this class and take it the next semester. One of the things I will forewarn you about is this. When you get behind, it's easy to get behind, and it's difficult to see yourself catching up. So if you stay on pace, but if you see yourself getting behind because of work, because of family life, maybe there's a family issue or a crisis, you come talk to me first, and then I will give you my open and honest opinion, especially if you're going through something like anxiety or depression. And remember, computer issues, not part of an excuse here. Please go back and read that part in the syllabus. You chose to take an online course, so it's anticipated or as assumed that you have the online means necessary to complete the course. Okay? Oh, and that's for my 3-week mini from last semester. So that's a quick jaunt through the syllabus. As I said before, each individual class, you need to go back and read the course assignments and the course calendar and due dates that we have for all of the assignments in your particular class. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to contact me.